Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jack, and I'm here today with the lovely
Luke from Korg.
Come on, man.
How's it going?
I'm very well, and I'm going to try and contain my excitement.
You sound very calm. Yeah.
Very calm.
Yeah.
Because we've done videos before, and I get very excited when you're here. I'm just going to bury it down, like most of my feelings.
Yeah.
Today, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the Volca Modular.
I got to see it now.
Yep.
A little bit. Didn't quite understand it, so I'm going to let you tell me about it, please.
Okay. So the Volca Modular is our brand new Volca, and it's a kind of our little bridge, really, into the modular world, because we've been admiring it from afar for some time, thinking that's pretty cool. Maybe we should try something like that. And what we've done is we've made that kind of instrument, but in a familiar form factor of a Volca. So it's got the familiar step sequencer, the ribbon controller. It's got this kind of similar connections with your sync in and out. Runs on batteries, got its speaker built in. But of course, it's got all these amazing kind of modular-like things on there, and a hell of a lot of patch cables.
Yeah, they look great.
So the idea of trying to simplify modular for a lot of people, putting it into a Volca, is that you've kind of got lots of different terms which you may not be familiar with if you're familiar with subtractive synthesis, but they're effectively the same thing in a lot of cases. So for instance, if I just break this panel down for you, you've got your oscillator section, you've got functions, which are basically like envelopes, but they can be used for other things. You've got dual LPGs, which are, again, effectively like filters. So you've got two cutoffs there. And then you've got a little effect at the end, which is a nice little spacey echo. And then you've got extra kind of little modules in here, things like woggle, which is like sample and hold.
Love it.
Yeah. Split, which allows you to...
Glen Woggle.
Glen Woggle, yeah. Then you've got split, where you can combine signals together or split them out into different places. So say you had one parameter, you wanted to send to two different places, then you can use split. And then you have this, which is basically a combiner. So you can combine two different signals together and then adjust them here. Yeah, it looks pretty complicated, but once I start showing you through this, hopefully it'll demystify it a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's kind of just go back to zero. So we've got just a triangle wave there, one oscillator, and you can play it obviously on this ribbon controller. And what's nice on here is we've given you lots of different scales as well. So you can see I'm just on a
Is this new for the Volca?
It is new, yeah, to have all these different scales. So you've got things like major, minor, harmonic, melodic, Dorian, then you've even got some more exotic things like Japanese. And
would that output, by any chance, to other... Can I control other things using those scales, or is it just...
No, it's just this.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so it's just the internal engine, if you like, that does that. But what it means is you can explore, obviously, different tonalities very easily without having to necessarily know.
And get a lot more music
scales
out of this type of keyboard.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
yeah.
I dig it.
So we've got our triangle wave there, as I said. So you see nothing is lit up, so that means none of these are active. And this is actually called a semi-modular synth, a little bit like our MS-20, where you can play it perfectly well without doing any patching at all. This is all pre-patched, and you can actually follow these little white lines on the panel to see where it's pre-patched. And then once you start patching it, obviously, then that can start rerouting all of that. So we can get a sound out of it straight away. So first of all, we've got fold. So that's like wave shaping on one of our analog synths, for example. And what it does is it starts folding the wave back on itself to create extra harmonic content. So you can see we get high frequencies coming in there as well. So that's what fold does. Modulator, so that modulates the second oscillator into the first, so it's frequency modulation. So you get that kind of sound, which is really nice.
Woo!
Yeah.
Rumbling my buttocks.
And then you've got the ratio. So what the ratio is basically the pitch of that second oscillator. So at the moment it's acting like a sub-oscillator, so it's 2 octaves below, but then you can adjust that. So you can have it in unison or go higher. Go back to the bottom. And then if you bring in the fold as well, you can start to make it sound super aggressive. Yeah.
Almost like filtering.
Yes.
It sounds like to me.
It is a little
There's
bit
a
like-
lot going on in that very first stage then.
It's a little bit like FM synthesis in a way, because that's how FM synthesis works. Now they get those interesting
When they're clashing and melding together.
Exactly, yeah. And it's the same thing. It's the two waveforms are coming together, and even that's just merging them together, if you like. But then when you start folding it as well, the chaos ensues.
Right, so in my little layman mind, that's like oscillator section.
Yes,
Right?
exactly, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Then this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, because you've got functions. Now the first of the functions, this one, is pre-patched, as I said. The second one isn't, so we're not actually using this one at all at the moment. This one is simply your envelope, really. So you've got attack and release.
Cool.
So the release, so you can have a longer release or something more snappy, or change attack. Or something really, really slow.
Nice.
And then in a minute, when I show you some patching, I'll show you what other things you can do with those
Cool.
functions.
So we've got an envelope after that.
Yeah, then we've got the filter. And it only has cutoff, it doesn't have a resonance. It's kind of combined together, but you don't have a separate resonance parameter.
And is this an analog filter?
Yes, it's all analog. Yeah,
Great.
Completely analog.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then you have that little space echoey effect at the end, which is quite nice.
I've heard that in a few demos and I love this.
I like it when you crank it quite high, and it's quite nice. Isn't it?
So that's the synth as is.
As is, yes.
But we've got this lovely like nest of linguini like mini cables that are adorable. Almost remind me
MIDI
of
cables were like that, wouldn't it?
yeah. They remind me of like model railways or something like
And
that.
they're giving you so many as well.
Yeah, loads. Yeah, but
Probably more than you can actually patch with. But yeah, so, and you also get this card with it, which is quite useful because it's got a few different basic patches on there to kind of get you started.
cool.
So shall I show you a couple of things we can do with
Yeah,
patching?
give us some of Luke's favourite patches.
So the one I like best is, and the one you can kind of do most with as well, is by using this. So this is a second function, which is another envelope. But what I can do is I can actually loop it back on itself, effectively creating an LFO.
I just get a feeling of what.
Yeah.
So yeah. Sorry, I know that's so boring, but I just they I must say at first glance I think a bit flimsy, but they
But
do
once
stick
they're in,
there.
they're in. Yeah, it's kind of thing. Yeah. So, that's created an everlasting loop, if you like, of that envelope,
Yeah.
which effectively has made an LFO.
So what have you patched into there? Just for the people at home.
So that's the output going into the input, effectively, of this.
Cool.
So it's looping back on itself. And then I can take another patch cable and then take the plus parameter. So effectively then send that somewhere else. So I can say, okay, I'm going out of there and I'm going to go into fold. Now you see that flashing now?
Mm-hmm. Ben folds 5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
There's so many available puns in the world, and I'm going to try stop it from now on. That's it. Over.
So now let's turn the reverb off a little bit. So. And then you can shape that. He loves that. So you can shape it and change the time. So it is very much like an LFO. Or you can have a softer kind of attack. Yeah, super aggressive.
And when you're playing that, is that locked into the Japanese scale?
No, at the moment we're just on, that's lit up because it says motion on. So the scale I'm using is just a chromatic scale.
I'm so excited that you would have chosen Japanese out of all the scales.
You can have Japanese, everyone.
But that's just your sense of gnarly harmony
Yeah,
every time
exactly,
coming out. All the time.
Yeah. It's amazing.
The dankness from like, constant dankness. Dank Williams. Cool. Let's do another one.
Yeah, so let's send that to somewhere else. So that's going to the fold, but so we went to the modulation instead.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. So now you see that's flashing. So it's a different kind of sound.
I love that feedback of it flashing.
Yeah, it's really useful, yeah, because you can really get
That's
that.
what I've lacked on some modular things is to see that
See
connection.
what's going on, yeah. I love it when you take it up to sort of audio rate and it's like really rapid and sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, come on,
really cool.
what's woggle?
Okay, woggle. I like woggle. It's good. So what woggle is? Do you know? Have you seen sample and hold probably on other synths?
Love it.
And this is kind of a different version of that, if you like. So we can just go out and it's got two outputs. So it's got one which is more like a sine wave where the pitch or the randomness will be smooth, or stepped, which is the other output. So if we go and send it, say, to the pitch. So you get that kind of thing going. Is that a good reaction or a bad
It just
reaction?
makes me laugh every time. It's got like, this kind of diminished tonality to everything that you kick out here, and I love it. I love
Or that one. That's a bit more sloppy because it's sort of on a smoother wave.
it. Chris is laughing. No, I love that sound. What is this effect doing?
So the effect, this one.
Yeah. It just.
So at the moment,
It's got a real vintage flavour.
it really has, yeah. It's like an old sort of space echo kind of sound, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the fact you can take it to that kind of extreme is really nice. And then, of course, you've got your sequencer as well. So,
Right, yeah, which
Yeah.
is, you showed me, we've got another video out on the channel where you came in with all the other vocals,
Yeah,
and I really got it there. Again, I was overexcited because I kind of finally understood how they're all going together.
yeah.
And is there anything new on the sequencer here?
Nothing particularly new on the sequencer.
You've got the scales.
Yeah, you've got the scales.
Shall we hear some scales?
Yes, but also you've got, I just remembered, you have actually got different modes where you can bounce the sequence. So you can, instead of it just getting it to loop, you can bounce it back and forth, which is quite nice. So you can get some more interesting stuff.
Which I think goes with the modular concept.
It does, yeah, definitely.
Of just being a bit esoteric, really.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah. So that's the sequence we had before.
Yeah.
If we press record, we can also step record as well. So, then we've got. So you can see how easy it is just to make a groove. Quite.
Sounds so
And
great.
because you've got sync on all these Volcas, it will sync, to all your other Volcas, and the timing will be great. And then you can decide which one's the master, which one's the slave, and there's your tempo. Off you go.
And can I plug normal MIDI into this? If I had a MIDI controller,
No, you
do
can't.
I need a converter?
Yeah, you would need some sort of converter. Now we do the SQ1, which is a little sequencer basically.
Would a Keystep Pro, something like that, with the CV out, would that control
Yes, yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah, you should be able to send a sync stripe to the sync in on that.
Yeah, just say it as a the keyboard playing dude. I love some of those sounds. How many voice? Am I silly?
It's just monophonic. Yeah, it's just monophonic. But because you've got your 2 oscillators, you can be a bit clever with how you tune those as well. So if I've got you can kind of get different pitches out of it. Yeah.
It's quite an arresting sound.
Yeah.
That's why I keep looking like a dog that's like hearing someone calling them. Sorry, because here it's pumping around the room and it sounds incredible.
Yeah,
man.
that's right. It's because you can go more kind of gentle if you like, because you can just turn off that and then you just back to your. Doesn't like that. Yeah. And when you start away folding it as well, that's when it really goes for it.
And a little bit, so we got woggle. The only other thing is, what did I spot in there? The split. Is that like a mult type thing?
Yeah, so you could send something to the input and then you could just split it out then to 2 different locations, basically. That's the idea. So
you
it's
can
very
get
much
more out of each section.
If you wanted to. And you've also got CV.
Take an LFO. You don't have... Well, you've got woggle. You can put woggle in there and send the woggle to two different places.
Yeah, 2 different places. And you've also got CV in as well, which means it will talk to all of that amazing modular gear out there as well. That's kind of the idea.
Thoughtful, yeah.
So it brings it into that world a little bit, as well as being almost like a single-stop solution to explore modular. So that's what it's about.
And is that, when can we expect to see these?
These have actually shipped already, so they're out there in the wild now. So... If you can find one, because I think they've been pretty hot, but yeah.
Exactly, and we've got the 2 here together. Just to say as well, there's going to be an audio-only video of you jamming on both of them together.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a few examples, so check that out if you really... I should have said that at the beginning, because now you're probably really livid at me that I didn't tell you to run to that one. You had to see me get overexcited. Would you do me the honour, fine sir, of playing us out?
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, I get so excited. Are you going to go with the both of them together? And it'll be a bit of a taster of the audio-only video. Yeah. And I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Let's do it. Let's start it off.
I've got to leave before I get too excited. Style boys for life. Donkey roll.